It all comes down to this for the final of the TNR Group 5 2022 Championship season, and it's a battle royale between Grey Dragon in the Porsche, Graham, and Lee in the Ford, and they line up. Graham is second on the grid there, just to the left of your screen as you look at it. Lee is a long way back in 7th, so he is in the blue Ford on the right hand side of your screen, 4 cars back, and this could be the final nail in the coffin for Lee. The championship is almost certainly going Graham's way due to the mathematical advantage he's got at the moment. There's 25 points between them, with 36 up for grabs, I think. 12 points for a victory. But we've got a pretty full grid, 11 out of 12 cars for the final. I'll take you through it. So we've got Mark on pole position in the Ford, the Worth liveried Ford. Now actually Mark and Graham were the 2 fastest cars in the practice session, but the other way round, and Martin was 3rd fastest, I think, and he is 3rd on the grid there in the red and yellow Momo Porsche. Got Dom 4th, Andy 5th in the Nissan, 6th is Dukes, Lee already said is 7th, Oz lines up 8th in the high-speed BMW, and then we've got Tom, Sam and Jake at the back in his first season here. Who's going to get away? Well, it looks like Ford has got off the line really well in the hands of Mark, and Lee has jumped from 4th. He's challenging for 2nd, 3rd, 4th place into the first corner. Can't quite get alongside Graham though. Backs out a bit, but Graham goes really, really deep, goes through all of them. Mark leads with Dom just behind. Great start from Dom, and Lee is up to 3rd place. Graham gets pushed down, so we now have the opportunity for a bit of jeopardy in this final race meeting of the season. This is race 22 of 24, and in the background Lee is trying for this championship. Jake is ineligible to score points. He's running 3rd there in the fantastic black, yellow, red MAMP liveried Ford Capri, but Lee is 4th, charging from 7th on the grid. He's doing everything he can to try and win this championship. Graham's all the way back in last place, out of the point, although he will score a point thanks to Jake being a non-point scorer in this event. But out front it is Mark leading, and Lee needs to do something really special whilst Graham is at the back of the pack. He needs to find his way through, but it's actually Jake putting Dom under pressure for 2nd place. What a fantastic start this is. We saw how quick Lee was from the back of the grid, but Jake has come from 11th and last, and he runs 3rd place. Could he get a podium on his debut in this series? And he's still running 5th in the Nissan, having a decent run. Not managed to get the podium that he dreamed of this season, but it's not over yet. We've still got a couple of races left to go, as in the background Martin goes up the inside of Tom, and in between them comes Oz. Look at the straight line speed that Oz has managed to extract once more. He never fails to amaze with the speed that he manages to get out of the car. Look as we go along the start-finish straight, 311 kilometres an hour. That's serious stuff. Out front though, Mark leads by a decent advantage. Mark having an absolute renaissance in this final meeting of the season. He's struggled a bit with that Ford this season. He has turned it on in the last couple of meetings. He's won twice in the last 6 races and been on the podium in 4 out of 6 of those, and the other 2 positions were 4th places, so as close as you can get to podium as Lee sweeps into 3rd place. Dom makes a bit of a mistake, and Lee's up to 3rd. Graham is up to 9th, meanwhile, further down. Let's have a look at the battle between Martin and the Nissan of Andy as we head down towards the chicane. There's cars up in the background. Is that Graham or was that Dudes? Didn't see. I think it was Graham actually. Having a real torrid time. The boys going through the chicane. Andy's still got it under control well in the Nissan. That's 5th place at the moment for Andy, 6th for Martin. Lee and Dom are still doing battle over that final podium position, but it's actually the Baron putting Mark under pressure for the win on his debut in this series. This is cracking stuff from Jake. What a great debut in this series. He's up to 2nd and is within a 2nd of the race leader. Further back is Oz and Graham fighting it out now. Oz was sort of in the title hunt earlier on in the season, is now mathematically out of it, so really anything Oz can do, he will go for it. Here we go along the straight once more, and the battle for the lead is on, but it's not close enough to watch yet. Still quite a close battle for third place as Dom is trying to get back at Lee, but Lee has the opportunity to take some points off of Graham here, but Graham needs to finish right down at the back for Lee to be in with a chance of this title. There's Martin and Andy going side by side again. Martin's leaning on Andy. Oh, nothing unfair. It wasn't anything unfair, but the result is Andy's gone a bit wide, but he's managed to stick on the inside there. I don't think he's going to hold on to it though. Martin takes the position. Great driving from Martin. That's 5th place. And Graham is on the prowl just behind. Now up front we've got half a second between the race leaders. And to be honest, if I was Mark, I think I would just let Jake go through and win it, because Jake is a non-point scorer. Ooh, risky by Mark there to close that off, but looks like Mark wants to try and win this one on the road. I just wouldn't bother if I was you, mate. I would just let it happen. And further back, what we got, Martin and Graham. Andy's dropped back to 7th, so Andy has been passed by Graham pretty swiftly. Oz is in 8th. Oz was quite bullish, thought he had the speed around here to be highly competitive, but so far not really making much progress in this race. That's not to say that he hasn't got some speed though, because it's just that all the boys are doing ever so well. Sam in 9th there, we haven't said about Sam. And there is Tom in 10th. Dukes is spinning out of the last corner, and it is battle on. Oh, I've missed it now, but Jake has got through for the lead ahead of Mark. Of course, non-point scoring, so Mark will take the points for the win. But it looks as though Jake is going to take the win on the road. Fantastic effort. He was last on the grid, and he's made them all look like relative amateurs by siding his way through the field. Mark is actually having a really good race though, and so is Lee from 7th on the grid. But Mark probably a pang of disappointment because he'd like to win it on the road, but he will get the points. That's the important thing. Mark 4th in the championship, tied with Oz at the moment, so this will put him ahead of Oz in the championship, put him up to 3rd, which is quite nice for Mark. And then there's Graham doing battle with Martin, who's come through on Martin, and they head through the final few corners. We've got right-hander, then the double left. The two Porsches going hammer and tongs, but I don't think Martin's quite got the pace of Graham at this stage. Both of these guys look like they're really struggling with their tyres through the twisty section. Meanwhile, Mark is trying to keep the pressure on to potentially win this race on the road. But at the moment it is all in the hands of Jake in first place there. And then we've got Dom in 4th at the moment, Graham 5th, Martin 6th. And then there's another battle on here because Andy's now under pressure from Oz as we go on board with the BMW down the straight. It's a simple enough move, there's just not the speed for Andy to come back. And they both go hard on the brakes. Oz has overcooked it though, massively. Andy's going to sweep back. In fact, Andy goes a little bit deep into the corner, but nowhere near as deep as Oz. And Andy reclaims 7th place. This is some good racing up and down the field. And Mark again just about got within a second, but it's now dropped out. So it is Jake's race at the moment. Graham running 5th, trying to chase down Dom. Dom's a little way up the road. Should just be able to see the back of the BMW there, black and gold, as it heads down the straight there. And Mark is back on the case of the Red Baron on the back of Jake's car. Jake not able to get away. Initially he was pulling away, but Mark's found some pace, or Jake's made a mistake, or a bit of both, as Mark goes running a little bit over the curbs. Not easy to drive these cars, as I say every week, but certainly when you get them on the curves you've got to be really careful of that power. So well controlled by Mark there not to give it a bootful and end up spinning out. But something that is glaringly obvious that I haven't mentioned yet, we actually have 3 Fords locking out the podium at the moment. That's quite unprecedented given how much those Ford guys have struggled. As we see Graham go for a move on Dom, there's absolutely no response from Dom there, because there's nothing Dom can do about that. The speed differential is huge. We're talking 50 kilometres now. Look, it's actually catching up with Lee, his championship rival, as they head down the straight, and Lee's probably thinking, what on earth do I have to do what do I have to do to stay ahead of that Porsche? But I think realistically Lee knew that this championship was over, really, although mathematically, until this race is complete. Technically Mark is still in it, as we just see Graham go a little bit wide, and so Dom goes back through, so that does take the pressure off of Lee a little bit. Out front, the battle is still on. We're less than a second between the two Ford boys, but then less than 2 seconds between the 3 Ford boys, as you see Lee. I think Lee would love to take the win here, that would really help, but I think this is going to be all over, because Graham is technically 4th on the road when it comes to the points. Well, 5th on the road, but he'll be scoring points for 4th. Jake being a non-point scorer in this event. And further back, we've got Martin just trying to cling on to the coattails of the other Porsche of Graham, championship leader. Andy coming up. But you can't take away from this man. He's come from 11th and last on his debut in the TNR series. It is the Baron, and he's going to win from 11th on the grid. A fantastic bit of driving. Well done, Jake. Awesome stuff. Mark, a really good drive from pole position, and you get points for the win at the very least. Lee from 7th to 3rd, really good. He kept the championship alive as much as possible, but with Dom finishing 4th, Graham 5th, I think the points will say it all, and I don't think it'll be mathematically possible now. There were 25 points in it. Lee's probably going to have taken something like 4 points off of that, so it probably makes it 19 points. It probably is just about mathematically possible still, but can't really see Graham finishing outside of points, given that everyone's a point score here, courtesy of Jake being a non-point scorer. So Martin 6th, Oz 7th, Andy 8th, so Oz managed to get the better of Andy in the end. We did see him make that move down the straight, but he held on to that to the end. Tom takes 9th in his BMW, and Sam 10th in his BMW. Biggs rounds out the finishes, comes up to the line in his Porsche, seems to be struggling with grip. All the Porsche guys saying that the grip of the tyres just diminishes so quickly, they just lose traction. We'll have the penultimate race of the series, the 23rd of 24 rounds, coming up shortly. There's confirmation of your result, and fastest lap was actually Graham with a 1:37.0.